the short answer is yes. Long answer is we have the Pyro Archon coming up, so maybe you want to like save for that character, but I really don't think you can go wrong with these two. So I've already seen the banners. Honestly, the 4 stars are nothing to write home about. I mean, Yao Yao is all right at best. Hazo is just awful. I'm sorry, but like the dude, I don't even see actual insane people play this character. And yeah, he's just not good. He's a kind of character that you'll use for like the one time and then never look at again. Fischl is actually good though, being honest. So that is the saving grace of the 4 stars. But I mean, the real saving grace is that it's Zhongli and Nevi. I mean, these guys are really, really good. If you need a good shielder, Zhongli's going to do the job, right? He's not going to be a main DPS. He's not going to be a support who increases all your damage. He's going to just be a shielder who gives you a lot of buffs. Well, he could give you a lot of buffs, but depending on how you build them. Some people build them with Tenacity for the 20% attack. I've seen some people build them with Archaic Bolide or Archaic Petra. I forget which one it is. But that is something that you can do with Zhongli. He's a good character for interruption resistance for Nevi if you have Nevi at C0. I mean, honestly, I have to say that he is replaced a lot of the times, though, because we have Shieldon now who takes his place in a lot of the teams. Because it used to be, oh, you have these 2 buffers. You add a 3rd buffer to Arlecchino or Nevi's team. It's not really going to do much, right? You could add a Hydro character to Arlecchino's team, but it was never really a big enough buff to feel like you want Zhongli. But now you just have a direct, like, Shieldon is able to buff Arlecchino, and then, you know, once again, the Hydro character for Arlecchino. Now, it can turn into an issue with Nevi of the interruption resistance being really bad, which, you know, that's just whatever. So that is one plus that, you know, Zhongli can give instead of Shieldon. And you can also run double Geo Nevi. That wouldn't be a bad idea. But, yeah, I don't really see I don't see how you can make a bad choice here. I think both of these characters are really good at what they do. I mean, Nevi is still the top DPS in the game. Another thing with Nevi is he's a Hydro character, and he's the best Hydro DPS or DPS in the game, period. So even if there comes along and there is a better DPS, he will still be the best Hydro DPS in the game. That is something to note, right? So let's say Pyro Archon or Citlali are better than him in terms of their DPS. He still is the best Hydro DPS in the game, and then would probably then be the 2nd best DPS in the game. So overall, it's not like you're really going to lose out much if you summon for this guy over Citlali or what is her name? Pyro Archon, I'm just going to say that. Yeah, that lady. You're not really in a position to lose, right? Zhongli, we've had this for versions and versions. The dude just shields you, makes you invincible. That's what he does. He gives you a little bit of res decrease also. He's not really going to make your team go crazy. Yeah. Now, as for the weapon banner, this is pretty bad. I mean, listen, I say all the time, right? Whenever we look at these weapon banners, whenever there is a standard banner weapon on the weapon banner, I'm like, yeah, you don't want to summon for this one. This is basically akin to having a standard banner weapon on the weapon banner. This weapon is useless. This spear right here, Zhongli's spear, is useless. You don't use it on Zhongli. You don't use it on, you know, literally anyone other than like, oh, it's a decent spear that better than all the 4-star options, right? That's not good. And Nevi's weapon is worse than his C1, so just keep summoning on his banner if you want to improve his damage, right? That is where we're at. And if you're a Mulanni main who wants to get Nevi's weapon, stop. Just wait for her to come back. She's going to probably come back right after the Pyro Archon update, or maybe even during the Pyro Archon update. Like, Mulanni will have her own signature weapon come back on a banner, guys. Don't worry. It's going to come back. Just don't summon for Mulanni. That's the only other character that I know that uses this, I'm going to be honest. So, yeah, I just don't recommend summoning on this weapon banner. Along with, I mean, well, actually, the 4 stars are actually pretty good. Other than this purple bow, you can use these on basically a lot of supports, right? You can use this on a lot of supports. Yeah, you can use this on, like, full EM build Raiden, right? I mean, yeah, the 4 stars are pretty good on this weapon banner, but still, this is not worth it. Absolutely not worth it whatsoever, because Vortex Vanquisher is, like, so bad, and Nevi is better off getting that interruption resistance plus the higher damage from his C1. And, yeah, I think that's really where we lie. So, I mean, weirdly, I just don't have much else to talk about. I know you guys like longer videos, but, like, guys, this is very this is very easy to tell, right? You just summon if you want these characters. If you want, I would say Pyro Archon has a good chance of being really good at whatever she does, and it could end up being to where she's so good that you're kind of like, man, I wish I got her, or man, I wish I didn't, spend all my summons on Zhongli, man. That's something that I think is very likely. I do think that the Pyro Archon, whatever she's gonna do, whether she's a support, whether she's a DPS, she's probably gonna be really busted. And if you are a person who likes, think about it in Fiorina sense, right? Okay, so look back at Fiorina, right? Fiorina with her HP manipulation, loving characters who subtract and add their HP, right? Natlan characters are highly single target is one theme that you can look at and be like, ah, that's interesting. That's just something, that's just literally something that is true about all the Natlan characters so far, is that they are pretty single target heavy, right? And I would wager there's a reason for that. Like, they have designed these characters specifically for a reason, and I imagine Pyro Archon is that reason. I think they probably designed the Pyro Archon's kit first before they design these other characters' kits, because if you look at Fiorina, they knew with Nevi and Wriothesley and even Lenny that Fiorina was going to work amazingly with them. Now, Wriothesley, he's a free. I don't like Wriothesley on freeze, but like Fiorina helps him out quite a bit. And honestly, you can run a melt team with Fiorina still. That's how good she is with Wriothesley, right? That's just, Fiorina was designed for these other characters. So I imagine the same thing is gonna be said with Nevi, or not Nevi, Pyro Archon. I imagine we're gonna be like, oh my god, yeah, it makes so much sense with the Pyro Archon. I'm gonna be honest. That's just my thoughts on it. I assume, if you are so basically what I'm getting at is, if you have summoned on a lot of Natlan characters, you might like Pyro Archon. Gonna be honest. Just looking at the relationship that Fiorina had with the Fontaine characters, and honestly Nahida had with all the, Sumeru characters, I don't think Nahida was off a Sumeru characters team at all, right? Candace was a support, but that's a 4-star. Are we really gonna call her, there? Are we really gonna go there with a 4-star? But hold on, let me look back. Dea, I guess you could say, but Dea was kind of just awful, so it didn't really matter. Looking back at 3.0 characters. So in 3.0, we had Baiju. Worked great with Nahida plus Sinnoh, right? That, support character, you can't really say. But looking at the DPSs, Al Haytham, you really want Nahida. Wanderer, no. Nahida, obviously, I think Nahida wants Nahida. That would be very, good. Nilou, yeah, she wants Nahida. Sinnoh, yeah, he wants Nahida. Tignari, yeah, I'm pretty sure in spread teams that Nahida would be very good there. And then we're done. So I would say there's a good chance that the Pyro Archon ends up being a character who works well with the other characters of their region. So I'd recommend that you guys, if you are a heavy Natlan user, maybe you save, right? If you love the Natlan characters, it's very one, Pyro off-field application is another thing, right? That's basically guaranteed with the Pyro Archon. Looking at everybody's kits, right? Even Chaska kind of wants off-field Pyro application. Let's be real. If the Pyro Archon doesn't do off-field Pyro application, that is the worst design choice for every single character to coincidentally have it, except Shieldon, because obviously she's a support. But coincidentally, Mulani, Kanich, Chaska, all want off-field Pyro application. I don't know, guys. So if you love using the Natlan characters and you are, a fanatic Natlan user, I would say yes. Wait. I would say wait. But are you really going to be that hurt for summoning for the best DPS in the game? No. There's no. The dude's really good. I've not had a single issue with Nevi from my time having him, right? I really do think that Nevi is by far in a way the best DPS in the game, because it's so simple with him to do whatever you need him to do. If you put him on the field, you can trust that he's gonna wipe out any enemies in your way. It's as simple as that. You have this guy, And when you use him, you will feel his power. The dude is insane. And I don't really have anything else to say, honestly. Zhongli isn't really a character. I would say don't summon on Zhongli, probably. Like, if I had to, like, you know, should you summon on Zhongli? Probably not. I do think that he's really good, but I think he's more of a pick that you summon for when you're, you know, stable, right? Like, when you already have your Nevis and Arlequinos, right? I would say that is when you summon for Zhongli, because then you have these top tier DPSs that you can just throw Zhongli on their team and then make them even more consistent, never having to worry about any issues with them. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.